What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Dungeon Master Experience. In this video, we're diving into the fantastic Dungeon Master Experience articles by Chris Perkins. He's one of the lead designers of Dungeons & Dragons. We'll explore his invaluable insights and advice to enhance your skills as a Dungeon Master and create unforgettable D&D experiences for your players. Hey, how's it going, guys? This article is called Magnificent Minions from June 16th, 2011. And this article is the 18th in the Dungeon Master Experience series. All of these articles are all going into a playlist, so if you like these videos, you can watch all of them on the playlist on my channel. So knock yourself out with that. I was kind of questioning to myself, what value does this have with me just reading something that anybody could just read for themselves? And then I remembered this is YouTube, and like pretty much y'all are not going to read it for yourselves. So here we are. So we're going to read this together. But for real though, you know, you could listen to it while you're driving to work or something like that. So anyway, let's jump into this together. This seems to be like the outcome of some sort of minion making contest or something like that. It should be a shorter one, I think. But anyway, let's get into it. And also, this one's chock full of stat blocks. I'll go into maybe like the special abilities on the stat blocks, but I'm not going to sit here and read a stat block line by line. Anyway, let's go ahead and read this article. Wednesday night. Nasim's regular character is a defective warforged named Fleet. Several sessions ago, a group of Vecna-worshipping wizards abducted Fleet with the intention of dismantling and studying him. Fleet's sudden and somewhat unexpected disappearance afforded Nasim the chance to roll up a new character and try something different for a few sessions. Recently, however, the heroes located and stormed the Vecnite's secret lair and rescued Fleet from his captors. Now Nasim has two characters, which presents a different sort of challenge. To get to the main bad guys, the heroes had to carve through Vecna's disciples, which included plenty of minions. The disciples' main shtick was that they uttered a terrible curse when killed. The curse made whoever killed them temporarily vulnerable to necrotic damage, which, as you might imagine, is particularly troublesome when fighting agents of the undead god of secrets. I know we're all thinking it, but I'm going to say it. He meant to say whomever in that last sentence. All right, cool. So that's the lore for this article. I really like the idea of having disciples that when you take them down, their last breath, they utter a curse on you. That's a cool idea. I'll probably end up working that into something or another. Moving on. Here's the stat block I created for the Disciples of Vecna, which you're free to plunder for your home campaign. And then it shows the stat block. It's a level 23 minion brute, and its little special ability is called Curse of the Whispered One. And whenever it gets dropped to 0 hit points, it will trigger, and the triggering enemy will gain vulnerability of 10 necrotic until the end of the encounter, which I think means that if you take necrotic damage, you get 10 extra, but I'm not a 4th edition guy, so I think that's what it means. Continuing on, because of their Curse of the Whispered One power, these minion cultists are best combined with undead creatures that deal necrotic damage. Nothing says blah ha 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 better than a minion who keeps dealing the damage long after it's dead. Of course, once my players realized that the curse effects don't stack, they got smart and let one character focus on taking out the minions so that the rest of them wouldn't be cursed. See, that's why they say 4th edition was like a video game. He's even talking about effects stacking and stuff like that, which is exactly what we talked about in EverQuest and Warcraft and all those games. It was all about like what stacks and what slot and this, that, and the other. Anyway, I digress. Let's keep it moving. The Magnificent Minion Contest. Thanks to everyone who submitted minion ideas and stat blocks for the Magnificent Minion Contest. And that's a dead link. So I just tried the link and it's a dead link. Not surprising, though, because this is over 10 years old from another edition of the game. What do you expect? Not surprisingly, we received a ton of fun and wacky ideas, with brutes and skirmishers by far the most popular monster roles represented. Not a whole lot of love for artillery and lurkers, however. I've picked my 3 favorites and have a few things to say about each one. A cautionary note, no real effort has been made to develop or edit these monsters. In a couple of cases, I made some formatting changes and filled in some accidental omissions, but that's it. All right, first up, guys, we got the Blood of Torog, and this is by Chris C., United States Air Force Academy, Colorado. Torog is the god of imprisonment, torture, and the Underdark. This particular critter likes to crawl inside your body, mingle with your blood, and control you like a meat puppet. Invade the Blood is a fairly complex power for a minion, but undeniably scary. I might change the encounter power to a recharge when the attack misses power, just to make it even scarier, and while its basic attack damage might seem low at first glance, its aura makes up for it. So let's check out these powers real quick since they're talking about them. Invade the Blood power is a healing, necrotic, encounter power, which I guess that means you can use it once every encounter. It says, effect, the Blood of Torog shifts a number of squares equal to its speed and must end its move adjacent to a bloodied enemy. So bloodied in 4th edition, I do know, is that if you're half health or lower. So this thing can basically teleport to you if you're bloodied, and its distance is its speed. It then has to attack you, and I guess it's a saving throw versus your reflex. Okay, and then on hit, if it hits you and you're bloodied, the Blood of Torog grabs the target, escape DC 18, and until it escapes the grab, the target takes ongoing necrotic damage equal to its level. If this damage reduces the target to 0 hit points, the target regains hit points equal to its bloodied value and is dominated. No save. And the Blood of Torog is removed from play. While dominated, the target acts in accordance with the Blood of Torog's wishes. When the dominated target drops to 0 hit points, it is no longer dominated or grabbed, and the Blood of Torog appears in a square adjacent to the target. Okay, so basically, if you drop to half health, the Blood of Torog can teleport to you, try to hit you, and if it hits you, it essentially like invades your body and starts doing a damage over time on you. If the damage over time kills you, or I'm sorry, drops you to 0 hit points, then it takes over your body, and you're a bad guy now. And the only way to get the thing out is for your allies, I guess, to drop you to 0 hit points again, at which point the Blood of Torog pops out of you, and then I guess your allies could try to kill it unless one of them is bloodied, and then maybe it jumps into them. This seems crazy and chaotic, and it actually could be amazing. The more I think about this, the more of a wild encounter this would be, especially if they encountered it in some evil, wicked place. Like imagine they're on some demi-plane of the abyss, like a blood demi-plane or something, or a shape changer area or something. Yeah, these articles have really good content. And now let's take a look at the change shape minor action. So it's a change shape polymorph at will. So it says change shape polymorph at will. So it can do it whenever it wants, I guess, as an action. And it says effect, the Blood of Torog can assume the form of any creature it kills, though it appears tortured and mutilated. While in this form, it loses its ooze trait. Wow, so you know what that's for. I'm going to go ahead and just sight unseen. That's to lure in party members to like try to come care for you or like tend your wounds. And then it's luring them in close. That's my takeaway. But anyway, let's keep on reading the article here. The change shape power is particularly nice. The change shape power is a particularly nice little bit of flavor that doesn't have much impact in combat, but gives the monster a disturbing aspect that mirrors the mutilated form of Torog himself. Sometimes even the most experienced designers forget the impact that these sort of powers can have at the game table. It also reinforces the idea that monsters can be more than the sum of their statistics. Yeah, that's definitely a totally cool one. Hopefully all the rest of them are that cool too. So the next monster coming up here is called Clobberknob Nilbog, which for the uninitiated, Nilbog is goblin spelled backwards. Like and subscribe if I taught you something today. And this is by Robert P. from Toms River, New Jersey. Try saying this monster's name quickly 3 times. Okay, so the article is going to tell you what I just told you. For those that don't know, the Nilbog, goblin spelled backwards, traces its origin back to the earliest days of D&D. Its original shtick was that attacks healed the Nilbog while healing spells wounded it. One of my all-time favorite dungeon adventures, Perlman's Curiosity in issue 32, featured one of these little buggers, and I've been favorably disposed towards them ever since. Clobberknob Nilbogs resemble regular goblins, save for their greasy violet-red skin, black eyes, and backwards hands and feet. Oh, that's weird, backwards hands and feet. They speak a hideous mishmash of elven and goblin, and are inclined to sing grisly choruses as they swarm victims. Also, check out their equipment. Gotta love a minion that carries around 3 goose eggs and a roasted pixie. I'm guessing that AC1 is not an error, but an attempt to reflect the idea that Nilbogs are damage magnets. I think I'd change its thievery bonus to plus 17 to account for training, but its other defenses and its damage are spot on. And here we go, we got the stat block for the Clobberknob Nilbog. Small, Fey, humanoid, level 14 brute. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but let's take a look at its traits. Healing aversion. The Nilbog loses its immunity and all temporary hit points if a creature adjacent to it uses a second wind or heals from a power with the healing keyword. Oh, and it's immune to attack powers with the weapon keyword. Okay, so let me get this straight. You can't hurt it with weapons unless you stand in the square next to it and heal yourself. That's kind of weird. And its other trait is tough little bugger. Whenever the Nilbog is hit with an attack power that has the weapon keyword, it gains 5 temporary hit points. These temporary hit points are cumulative. Okay, that is a weird creature, and it only has 1 hit point. So straight off rip, if you attack it with a weapon that can't do at least 6 damage, you're just going to heal it. Even if you've already triggered the healing aversion thing. Now, if you haven't triggered healing aversion, it's going to be immune to the weapon, and it doesn't even matter what damage you do. And all you're doing is just stacking piles and piles and piles of temporary hit points on it. Which, I don't know why they wouldn't just hit each other all day long and stack up infinite temporary hit points when the players are not there. But maybe we're just not ready for that conversation yet, you know what I mean? Okay, the next minion is called the Clockwork Wasp Drone. And this is by Baron Ross S. from Fort Collins, Colorado. So we had 2 Colorado people win. 50 states, but yet 1 state had 2 winners. That seems statistically unlikely. Even corrected for population density. I'm just going to leave that right there. Baron reports that this particular minion was used during a fight where the heroes had to climb a tower with moving floors, shaped like Tetris pieces, while being attacked by a hive of clockwork wasps, leading to a boss battle with their queen at the top. That's one battle I would have loved to see. Man, I think that first paragraph right there where it explains the like Tetris moving floors and the boss battle at the top, I think that right there just won it. That is awesome. That is so cool sounding. Being small of brain, I like minions that are simple and straightforward. However, the best minions have a signature power or trait that embodies what the monster is all about. In this case, it's the extra damage that the drone deals when it's adjacent to allies. It makes the DM want to group these minions into tight swarms. And how appropriate is that? As is true of many minions, the Clockwork Wasp drone explodes when it drops to 0 hit points. This particular critter unleashes a burst of lightning that targets enemies only, so the poor drone doesn't have to worry about killing all of its buddies like an exploding can of Raid insecticide. Alright, now we got a stat block here for the Clockwork Wasp drone. It's a level 13 minion skirmisher. And let's check out its triggered actions. Clockwork Burst, Lightning, it's an encounter power. It happens if the drone drops to 0 hit points. And what happens is it does a close burst 1, which is, I think, 1 square away from the wasp. And it does 8 lightning damage. And it's like an attack roll type of thing, it looks like. Oh, and part of its standard attack is that it does 8 poison damage on its normal attack, but it does 1 extra poison damage for every ally that is adjacent to it. And since they can fly, they can actually really stack up quite a bit there if you think about it. Like 1 wasp could have 9 adjacent to it, technically, above it, in the level above it. And if it stings down, it'd do 9 extra damage. But that's cool. Moving on. Moving on to honorable mentions. Props also go to Rain S of Nokesville, Virginia for the Flying Eyeball. Each minion comes with a random Beholder Eye Ray. And Kendall B of Toronto, Ontario for the Troll Whelp, which a troll can spawn when it takes damage and then eat it to gain temporary hit points. Until the next encounter. That was a banger of an article in my opinion, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed it too. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you like these videos. It's really cool. It seems like y'all really do like them because people are clicking like on every video. Let's keep it rolling, guys. See ya.